There it is. Going live. We'll let that populate to all the major centers. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter.
Oh, you need the
Thing in between.
fax, the old modem sounds that we used
Oh
to
Lord.
hear as
Wee
old
wee
people.
wee wop.
Mom, get
Wee
off the
wop.
phone, Ma.
Feels so cruel. I don't know the real point of it. Like there's the video. There's some videos of older people giving teens like a rotary phone. Like, all
Yeah.
right, hey, can you figure this out? It's like, all right, I'd like to see you figure out a fax machine.
Well,
Or it's like, how about you send an email, Deborah? Like,
yeah.
just
I was
like,
about to say, I'm like, how about I just make a PDF, make a PowerPoint that.
oh my god. Yeah, edit this PDF. Remove
Yeah.
one page from this
Good.
PDF for me.
Good luck.
Dude. What would we have? So for us, it's probably my favorite is probably the floppy disk, which still exists in some places as the save icon,
Yeah.
despite it being entirely obsolete as an actual useful thing anymore.
Yeah. The floppy disk would be wild. Even just I wish I had the floppy disk, the 3.5s, and like the zip disks. Do you ever have
Oh,
those?
the zip disk, yeah.
Like those are ancient technologies that my kids do not need to know about. Like nothing will good. It's
They were
like here's
not
the
good.
Rosetta Stone for like technology.
Yeah, I dropped into a garage sale today. They're selling like a VCR rewinder, like a
Oh
VCR tape rewinder. It's like, bless your heart for trying to get rid of it, but man, what's the need for this right now? That's a
right?
tiny delta of people.
There's not. Yeah. It's like
Those
does
that would
somebody have a video store that they're renting out of their shed
oh,
or something?
do miss the video store though. Renting games, physical games was amazing.
It was
That'll be
good.
missed.
Yeah. We don't have that anymore. We just have midnight releases in the car in the parking
And that's the way we like it.
lot. Yeah.
And with that, let's get this show on the road. Everybody, thanks for joining us for the live recording. You can check us on it'll go up in a couple of days. Actually, tomorrow. We'll have that live tomorrow. Anybody who's watching live, and we'll get things started because we are live. The adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Right. And there's one thing my kids will not be seeing, and that is any screens anytime soon. It is.
Oh.
We are on lockdown, sir.
Oh
Like
no.
at least during the week.
Okay.
So this all came about. So we got the dreaded email from a teacher, and an amazing teacher too. By the way, like we're incredibly fortunate that my older son has these teachers in his life because he is still transitioning. Like he's still learning the ropes per se, and especially too because it's a different language he's learning in. So a lot of patience. This teacher's great. Get the dreaded email. Hey, can we set up a call? We need to. He's hoping to have a conversation. Actually, and then later's like dot dot dot. Don't worry, he's gonna pass. He's gonna go into grade 3. It's
Okay. Okay.
fine,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it'd be good if we could have a call. And I think he had just started in class. He had started to be more problematic,
Okay.
more uh, more friction than necessary, and doubly more, which concerning enough. The fact that the teacher has to reach out to us immediately, just red flags. Like
Yeah.
it's like you need to go to school, you need to try your best, you need to like be a good student. It's not about like I demand A's. This is more about like you're trying your hardest and you're being a good person in class.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you're not, those are your bars. And he's not meeting those, we got to do something because those are in your control.
Right.
This comes down to doesn't want to do certain activities, like being a bit of a smart ass about it. And worse too, like there was this introduction where the teacher had said, I need you to describe this. And I think it was like a flower or a bunny. And my
Okay.
son replied, no, I don't like that. It's cute. And it's like, pardon? Like
Right.
what does that have to do with it? Like the task was to describe this thing, whether or not it's cute has like nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
And and the fact
Yeah.
that besides the insubordination that represents, like the more problematic feature for me was that kind of tinge of nonsense masculinity, where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, it's cute, I can't like it. I
Yeah.
imagine boys as they mature are going to go through some of that. Fine. but the fact that you can't describe something when requested by your teacher, that really bothered me.
Yeah.
And whether completely true or not, like what the connection I had made was back to YouTube,
Oh, okay.
right? Because any dad's listening who has their, we've all allowed our kid to watch on YouTube. We know how garbage it is sometimes. We know loud, obnoxious, street screaming teens like trying to capture
Oh
attention
yeah.
by any means necessary. And just for some reason, I just connected to that. It's like I believe he picked up that kind of silliness and nonsense from those guys, where they pick up like a uh, open up a loot box. It's like, oh, gross, that's cute. Oh, like I don't like cute things. Like because otherwise,
Yeah.
it's not coming from me. It's not coming from his mother. I know it. We've met and seen him play with his friends. We don't think it's there either. So, just as like comeuppance for bad behavior in school, no screens, great. And then secondarily, it was just kind of like that supporting thing. It's like, if you're going to have any of that kind of nonsense on old school masculinity stuff that's
Mm-hmm.
not helpful to you, the around like cuteness that you can't like it, it feels like it would be from there. Like
Yeah.
was I on point? Am I off base here somehow?
I think you're on point. A lot of those channels can have that kind of, you know, toxic kind of look at what it is to be a man or grow up to be a man. And we've had conversations, many conversations with our kids when we've kind of walked down into the basement when they have that on. And there's some things that are, they come off wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
again, kids are impressionable and we can't see everything that they see, but to teach them the lessons to kind of like critical think about certain things, right? So we've had those kind of conversations with YouTube, and it can be like some of those channels, like they just go down this rabbit hole once they lock you into, like, let's say, hey kids, like Minecraft, right? And they get into Minecraft, and then they have those side comments that they're playing through the game. So there's a lot of like comments like that where they're off sides, and if we hear or see it in school, then yeah, I can see the link back into YouTube
Mm-hmm.
with those personalities for sure, for sure.
So
Like,
I'd like to think we're not contributing to the problem, but maybe we are.
yeah.
It's, those wild and crazy podcasts are just letting loose, leading the kids astray.
Yeah.
So it is all gone. And we had with the other child too. Same thing. Like both of our kids got like the call where they said, the young boy. He's been really hard to direct lately, and he's kind of ignoring like requests from the teachers. So the both of them, it's like, all right, screen time's gone, guys. We've got to get this on track.
So it is both of them for the
Mm-hmm.
same reason. That's actually good for you. Like, it works out in your favor rather than trying
Mm-hmm.
to like isolate one off and then the other one just gets really jealous and
Yeah.
then
It's like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, Phil, you can
yeah.
see this video. Oh,
I'm watching a YouTube on how cute this bunny is.
I think so. The two parts of it, though, so two that I thought is two negative parts that it would feed into, and I think even some degree with gaming, less so, much more the YouTube. But I don't like this particular video. Click on another one. I don't like this one. Click on another one.
Mm,
Okay, this is
yeah.
getting bored now. Like, click on another one. That immediacy and perpetual, like there's nothing to dictate that they stick through anything, right? So I think it was contributing a little bit to their certain like impatience or inability to kind of like focus and kind of drive through a particular task.
Yeah, they're
So
definitely wired differently now than we were. Like, if
yeah,
we channel surfed, you'd be in the middle of other shows. You'd be like, well, I can't go anywhere. I have to watch this show because there's nothing else that's going to be at the beginning.
yeah. But I'll say this too. So what's so funny then is that as if to poison their own drink is that we
Uh-oh.
do this, but it's like, all
Yeah.
right, so I'm going to try to guide them a little bit more, especially during the first period because they're going from more screen time after school to like just none. So it's like, okay, let's
Cold turkey. Let's
cold
just,
turkey, buddy.
yeah.
So let's go play sports, man. Let's go like play together in the park. What do you want to do? Let's get your soccer ball. Let's get the baseball one. And they were killing it. They were so good
Oh,
at
no.
sports, and it's just like, okay, so now you're going to be professional athletes because I made the one decision that you can't watch screens like after. Really, this is how you're going to do me? You're just going to so clearly delineate that I'm just a bad man and a bad father, and immediately turn to sports stars.
You're going to start up a new podcast now. Some new dad
Yeah,
sportscast or
I'm out of
something.
here. So the one he was asking his big game soccer. He's like, hey, can you teach me how to do a header? I was
Okay.
like, I cannot. I have no idea how to do it. Like I played
Yeah.
soccer as a kid, but I'm not. I don't want to train you incorrectly. Let's go in and irony of irony. Let's go on YouTube together and look up because this is the good. See, this is the good use of this platform, son. Let's look up how to do a proper header, and we watch this like coaching tutorial. And I was like, okay, great. Head to the field and like they just sat there for like 30 minutes, like header, header. Hey, do it again. Header, header. Hey, let's practice. Header. It's like, great. Okay, so now you're just like a perfect superstar athlete because I cut screen time for a day.
Yeah, that's all you
Um,
need to do. Look at you.
so, so he's doing that. My other son really into baseball, so we set up a little t-ball, and he's just like smacking it. I was trying to teach him about like, okay, like you raise your back elbow, like bend your one leg. He's doing it all incorrectly, but then he would still just
Just
smash it.
launch it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an interesting time in the house. I feel fantastic, and I'll say this: like we've gone nuclear. I don't know if you've been close or have made a similar thing. We have gone nuclear on YouTube. It's out of the house. I deleted every version of the app.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
is not going to come back in again. We played with it before. I tried YouTube Kids because I thought it'd be a little better. It was not. It's just it is garbage. It is attention driven, like it is fast, quick twitch, attention driven, nothing beneficial. So completely gone from the house. Have you guys ever come close to just Xing it entirely?
We have come close. I think the most we got to was maybe just a few days off from it,
Okay.
or limiting it to certain channels or like hours.
Mhm.
So hours not being like they watch hours at a time, but like if you're just sitting there just going through the same videos, like click, 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 like there needs to be a break. You need to go
Yeah.
outside, you need to do it with your friends, even go on a call with your friends, whatever. Something different than just going through this person's life on YouTube where I don't want them like another fear of mine is like they get really close to these people and they think that they're buddy buddy with them
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
that can happen and I don't want that to happen. So we haven't nuked it entirely ever, but we've been close. There have been times and it would be both of them at once. So like
Mhm.
it would be like everybody's gone, you go play board games, you go outside, do whatever.
Yeah.
So
Nice. So, hey, new dads out there, have you experienced a similar thing? Have you gone nuclear on YouTube? Have you done a pause on all screens for your kids to kind of reset them, set them on the right path? Reach out to us. We'd love to hear your stories at New Dad Gaming on Twitter or newdadgaming.com. Now, one small replacement that we've had is an oldie but a goodie, reaching way back like 4 years ago, Jeff. 4 years. My kids have gotten into Pokemon Go.
what year is it? That's crazy.
It still exists. Man, it is still as great as you remember it too. Like it was just that game is fantastic. Like it is so much fun. And so they called it up. I'm not sure how. I think they must have seen it from YouTube, of course, so that they had no introduction to it.
Okay, yeah.
But the immediate call to explore our local area, right? Because you pull up the map and they immediately kind of like one to one can see like, oh, this is like that road and this is that, and you could see in the distance like gyms and like other treasure chests you can open up, and they want to gotta catch them all, gotta catch them all.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, let's go up here on this path, Dad. Then we can go down there. Maybe like next week we can like go by the river and maybe we can get some water Pokemon. There's just that immediacy, or like, hey, let's explore, let's walk around. And we're strolling about, they're grabbing like sticks and then jumping about. So we would stop every now and then. It's just my own it's my phone. We're not my lord, we're not giving them smartphones yet
Yeah.
at their age. But we'd see something and it's like, all right, hey, there's a new one. You want to catch them? All right, go down on one knee, let them waste like six Pokeballs because they're terrible at it. Eventually catch it. So it was awesome though, man. Like they had an absolute blast. Like I was having fun. I had to later that day. I had to go pick up some ingredients for supper, and I found myself playing it Pokemon.
Were you? Yeah,
Yeah,
see? Yeah, of course you were.
because I remember because that was my jam when my first son was an infant and I had him in the carrying pouch. Only way he'd sleep. So I walked. I'm not kidding you. 3 or 4 hours a day, and this is like the moment that Pokemon Go. So I was all
You're
about this game.
killing it. My
Oh,
God.
there's wild. I had so many kilometers because I had nothing else to do. My son was sleeping on me. It's the only way I'd sleep. So I was falling into those old habits. Except I found on the way there, I caught this a new Pokemon my kids hadn't seen, and I immediately stopped. It's like, this sucks. Like this isn't the point. Like they want to catch new ones. It'll be fun. So
I'm
just
doing this without them.
yeah, basically, it's like relax, Dad. Just let the kids have their fun. And it was just my old urges to like catch them all myself.
I still remember when this came out, and the where I was in my office at work when we were all back in the office back in those days. I could go to a gym, like it
Mm.
was right outside my window, like half a kilometer, but sometimes the GPS would glitch out and I would be at the gym and I would just get Pokemon balls all day. Like Pokeballs all the time. So I'd load up because then I think Jude or my youngest was 5 at the time.
Hmm.
So it was just something that I could allow him to just fire these Pokeballs out and just load up at work and not have to do the microtransactions to like get all the other balls. So it was perfect.
Oh, it's amazing. The It's great. So I know it's worth. I think for dads, it's worth a look because the access to your neighborhood, the call to adventure, like the desire to like roam around, like find all these different things, it's fantastic. And it's now look. I think it has gotten, and I think you confirmed it when we were talking before we started the recording. Uh, I think it's got a lot more microtransaction-y. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
the right word exactly, but the I think that's a technical term.
Yeah, I think you have to grind a lot more for the same amount of things. Or things are the in-game currency is like jacked up a little bit where
Mm,
you not everything is quite as cheap as it once was. But I think you could still have a good time with it, play with it, and again, catch them all because there's tons out there and it gets kids outside, whatever, makes them
yeah.
happy about walking around, right? Like, I think as you get older, you're like, I'll just go for a good walk, and you feel good about it. But like as a
Mm.
kid, you're like, where am I going? Are we going to a playground? What are we? Are we getting ice cream? What's going on? Like, there's got to be a purpose.
That's so great too. It was awesome. I love how they were connecting. It's like, okay, we'll go to that field. Maybe there's grass type. We'll go to this
Yeah,
forest. We'll go to this lake. And like, I'm not sure
perfect.
where we'll find a desert, but hey,
Never know.
yeah. The So it was absolutely great. I think the grinding part is absolutely accurate. The funny thing is, there's a gym fairly nearby us,
Okay.
and it's like, okay, let's check this out, guys. Maybe we can do a battle. That could be fun. And they have like level like 5, right? We got like, these like tiny fresh Pokemon we just got, and we click on the gym. It's like level 14,050. Like, oh, cool. Like, go, go, Pidgey, go. We can
Never
do
gonna. Yeah,
this.
just see them get slaughtered one by one. This game's not fun anymore, Dad.
Go, Weedle. I believe.
Yeah.
But perhaps there's parts of it. There's rate. Like I said, wild parts that a gaming dad would have to like try to come to understand. There's raids now. There's like I said, there's all the gym stuff. There's lures. You can like drop lures on
Yeah.
treasure chests to try to bring certain ones out. It's a whole thing. But at its base, walking around, little Pokemon show up, little AR thing, catch them. Kids love that got us walking around for the day. So in a moment where they're not doing screen time, this was a nice blast from the past.
Nice. Yeah. Glad it worked out.
Yeah. Now further, what was kind of a bit of a Trevor heavy show this week, as fans are noticing, but
It's
lots
one of
going
our
on.
best episodes ever. Let's go.
4 watches. What happened? But what was wild is my youngest has taken to saying, it's like, Dad, I don't really like games that much. Poor,
Immediately, like, what?
what did you say?
Yeah.
Listen, you can yell at teachers, you can disrespect your mother, but I will not have you
No,
not
yeah.
like video games.
Yeah.
Of course, not a problem. It's interesting. So, firstly, of course, if he doesn't, man, Bob's your uncle. Like, we'll do whatever you like. We can do sports instead. We can color.
Yeah.
We can craft. Like, whatever. Like, this household is very much going to be like you're going to be who you're going to be. That's no problem.
Right.
What I'm trying to discern, though, is I get the feeling that the older brother is imposing his will a little bit, probably a little bit too much on the younger one.
Oh.
Where, for instance, the younger one will want to play a game. Now he's really into packages, really loves packages. My older one, not really feeling it these days. So, we've taught them, okay, this is like the one system, so you have to share. So like, back and forth. So when it comes time for the younger's one game, the older one will put a timer on. Like so
Oh
we have like
yeah.
devices, it's like, oh, okay, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, then we're gonna stop. And then it comes time for his game. Man, he just doesn't put a timer
There's
on.
no
And like
timer on. Yeah, of
maybe,
course not. Why
maybe it's
would you?
20 minutes, maybe it's 30 minutes. And you're listening to him. he's kind of. I've had to coach him a little bit because he'll just come up with rules. Where it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
well, if
yeah.
I'm not here, you can't play. It's like, what are you talking about? It's my
That's
system. Like you can't make the rules. That's not in your room. It's in the living room. So what I'm trying to find is if he doesn't like games, fantastic. Like there's a lot of other things we like. Turns out he's like a baseball dynamo. So maybe that sports is going to be his thing. Or dancing. He's in gymnastics. He's
could
great at
be.
that. He might love those things and not like games. Perfect. That's fine. But I'm trying to find out. I was like, okay, is it? Do you actually not like playing games, or just you playing games right now is kind of difficult with how your older brother's acting?
Yeah. See, I can kind of relate being the older brother, like, and setting up those
Yikes.
said rules
Mm.
of, what system or even what game or even what character within the game, depending on
Wow, you would
whatever. Yo, yeah, like
come on.
I was horrible looking back on it, but it was just one of those things where you assert any kind of control you can because I don't know, you just like had the thirst for power, and once you got a taste of it, you're like, wait, I could do this for a lot of things that I want. I would time my brother to go get me drinks and stuff. You obviously have you had that inflicted on you? Like,
No, fortunately, not that part. No.
but like it expanded into that video game realm where you're like, well, I get to pick Ryu in Street Fighter 2 and you never do. Like it was just
That's my character.
it's horrible. I know. It's so I can kind of relate. It might be
Mhm.
that. It could very well be that because I'm sure my little brother is traumatized by those things and doesn't play nowadays. So maybe that was it.
Yeah. So one thing what I was curious about was to buy if I did repurchase if the price isn't astronomical or silly. If I did repurchase packages, all right, that's what we call it. It's not. I'm trying to think of the right name of it. It's one where it's like silly package delivery service, and like
Oh yeah, yeah,
you have the
yeah.
flimsy. If you can look it up while I'm chatting, like they got like the flimsy like physics to it.
Totally reliable delivery
Yeah.
service. Is that it?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the one. Exactly it. Right.
yeah.
So totally reliable delivery service. He loves it. So I was wondering. I don't think it's that expensive. I was thinking about rebuying it for him on the Switch, just to give him another avenue so that he's not bound to his brother's decisions.
Okay, yeah,
You know what I mean? So just it's not because I want to. I suppose what I want to find is like if you like playing games, but you're just getting turned off of them because
yeah,
your brother's being an older brother
yeah,
and a bit of a
yeah,
dick,
yeah,
then
yeah.
we can sort that out. So
Something to try.
yeah, I think I'm gonna look it up. I'll see if it's under like $20. If it's like 10, 15, I'll just
I'm
grab
like, what valuation do you put on this? You're like, all right, we need to cross this off.
it.
I don't know. It's just 15.99. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
We'll wait.
$90. This is very important. This is like we need to
Yeah,
figure this out.
yeah. No, that's a good trial and error thing, just to
Yeah,
see, just to see. I
yeah.
guarantee you, it's part of it.
Yeah,
So
hey, gaming dads, if you have similar situations with your son, your kids fighting over one getting out of games, or just how did you manage the divvying up of game time between your kids and how they would fight between us? Let us know your tips and tricks for other gaming dads at New Dad Gaming on Twitter and newdadgaming.com. So, as we've been recording this, I have been sipping a delicious beer, which actually, what is great is like summer beers is up around the corner.
yeah, it is.
So we'll have to decide when we when we'll officially start summer
Yeah, yeah.
without pulling our punches too early.
Now.
Yeah, this week. Now, what is interesting about this beer is this is non-alcoholic.
Okay.
So this was called Sober Carpenter, which is
Amazing name.
yeah,
That
just
is.
like as opposed to like drunk carpenter. It's
Yeah, I
like
know you're stepping into this whole new world of naming convention. I love it.
it's pretty clever. But why I've been experimenting with it is it was kind of twofold. So I've had some health issues. Nothing major. Should put that up front, and we'll kind of talk about it. There's a whole this whole these stories kind of cascade into another, and I'm starting with the beer, and we'll roll into some other stuff.
Yeah.
But with some health issues coming up, and a look to try to focus on my health, it was like you know what, like alcohol, as much as I like it and I enjoy the effects of it, like it's not good, and it's going to be kind of counter to some things I'm going to be trying to achieve. So, but it's summertime and there's nothing greater than barbecuing with a cold beer or
Right.
sitting down for a game with beer. Like I really enjoy drinking beer. So it decided to head out and just start to, what does non-alcoholic beer look like
Hmm.
at the moment? And what I've been really grateful to find is that it's really actually expanded.
Okay.
So,
All right.
so non-alcoholic beer, I remember when I was a kid, I'm trying to exactly remember this. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure me and my friends like bought an non-alcoholic beer and like drank it, and it was swill and disgusting.
Oh yeah.
And I'm pretty confident saying it probably was really bad back then.
I
But
I
now,
could I could see that, right? I was stocking it. I remember I worked in a grocery store and
yeah,
stocked it. So I was able to handle it, and then I know people of my same age would buy it.
it's like, what's the point? You don't
Like,
like beer anyways.
it's
So
not
like,
gonna
what's the
work.
point? It's not gonna work. Well, maybe if I drink 50 of them, it'll make it
Yeah, yeah,
happen.
exactly.
But no, on the counter, besides like some of the usual ones, like so there's a Heineken, non-alcoholic. There's Bud. There's Corona, which is good to see some of the major players. But this is actually like craft beer, specifically brewed like
Okay.
it, and that tastes like it. So it's got all of those hallmarks of interesting takes on beer, quality ingredients, the whole kind of 9 yards. So yeah, to support the, I have some alcoholic beer in the house, and I enjoy like a couple every now and then. But mostly, it's like, all right, if to enjoy it a little bit more guilt free, just have some non-alcoholic. And like what was been so great to see is that there is a whole craft kind of scene showing up there. Funny
Hmm.
enough, like that, it's crazy low in calories too. I don't know if that's a bug or a feature. Like if when you remove alcohol, you just remove calories, because the thing's like 60 calories for the whole can for a
Oh
tall boy.
wow. See, you're practically like on a diet. You
Yeah.
just
So yeah, so just to put it out there is that if you've ever thought maybe reduce my consumption a little bit in
yeah.
light of alcohol clearly being a bit more understood to be very terrible, um, but or just as opposed to like 6 beers, I'll have three non-alcoholic during the week.
It works, yeah.
Different shades of it. I'm just putting it out there. Like there's actually some really great non-alcoholic versions. So where this all starts is I had another big spike in my blood pressure. I think I talked about on the show a year ago, maybe like
Yeah.
2 years
Yeah.
ago. So I had a bout of bad blood pressure, largely due to some weight gain, stress, like XYZ. Worked with doctors, did some dieting, exercise, lowered it, showed back up. Really upsetting. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
really hate to see it. And that really kind of prompted that entire thing. So exercise, diet, like just trying to get myself back under control, and that's what really prompted that as well. In addition, like there's also a lack of energy I'd been feeling, and not just look, dads. We get to the end of the day and we are goddamn tired.
It's tiring. Yeah.
it's been it's been a day, and dad, so you just have that dad exhaustion. That's fine. This was beyond dad exhaustion.
Yeah.
I was just like overly beat. It's like I run a marathon that day, to the point
Yeah.
where it's like, why am I this tired? There was nothing in my day that would have made me this tired. So with that kind of fluctuating energy, I was just starting to search out. So clearly, exercise, health, weight, like the blood pressure, that's all going to contribute. But we had a conversation, and it's something that ended up actually really helping me. So this is with vitamin B12.
Yeah, and this is again, disclaimer, we are not doctors.
Yes, very, very important. This is
we
just firsthand experiences
Yeah.
from stuff we've been told, with stuff that also, in its worst cases, it is just a vitamin that's
Yeah.
natural in
Oh
the
yeah,
body.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not like it's some weird miracle drug type of thing.
No.
But they're
No.
very clear. This is just like, it's not medical advice. It's just a couple dads with experiences.
Yeah. So and like you said, we were talking, and I had gone to the doctor for like, you know, various issues. But one of them was energy levels. Like I was just
Mm,
feeling tired and like not lethargic, but like there, right? Like nap a lot and stuff. I'm
mm,
like, that's just being a dad. That's just being 40, right? But it turns out like this my B12 levels were low, and my doctor was like, hey, why don't we do some shots? Shoot you with B12, and then just go and uh, buy buy the vitamin at any drugstore and just fire that in every day and see how you feel in a couple months. And nowhere to lie, like whether it's placebo or whatever, like it seemed like it worked, and I had a lot more energy. And it was during the winter months, even like when
mm.
you're kind of cooped up inside too. So it was just something that helped me, and I shared it with you, and I'm thinking it had an effect there. So it was just something that was easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
Again, doesn't really cost you anything. Besides the price of the vitamin, and if it doesn't work, you just pee it out.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like that and like vitamin D. It's like there's no
Yeah,
ill effects to taking a lot of it
yeah,
necessarily. So we had that conversation. I immediately went out and got some, and just plus even just a normal like men's multivitamin, just
Yeah.
like men's complete multivitamin, the B12. Started to take it, and it's now been 4 weeks, I guess, and I got like my energy is absolutely better. Like I feel
Nice.
so much better. It's
Yeah.
wild. Again, maybe it's placebo. Perhaps it's because I'm eating better. It's like I can't sit here and say proof positive.
Right.
This pill alone
Yeah.
solved everything.
Yeah.
But I truly feel it did have an impact, and it's just one of those things where when we are dads, we are gaming dads, we want to be dads for long, meaningful times for our sons. And as we're getting older, like this is the type of stuff we got to start taking care of,
It's
right?
maintenance. It's all maintenance now. We're in maintenance
Yeah.
mode.
So if any, I think that it speaks to the thought that if you are feeling ill in any particular way, if you feel bad in any particular way, it's worth looking into ways to remediate it. So with me, like blood pressure, it's like, all right, well, I reduced my caffeine consumption, I reduced my alcohol consumption, exercise and diet. I had energy issues. Okay, there's a very simple and basic over the counter vitamin and supplement you can just take that sometimes helps with it. Maybe it's like tea, maybe it's sleep, whatever. Like it's worth us dads for the sake of our families and our kids to put in some effort to try to better one's health.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And check yourself out, right? Like if
yeah,
something's wrong, don't just be like, "Whoa, I'll tough this out."
yeah,
In the age of, this pandemic and everything else that's happened in the world, like check yourself out. Like if you
mhm,
can, I think it's worth it for sure. Even just peace of mind. If you're
yeah.
stressed out, the peace of mind to know where you need to go. Absolutely.
I'll drink to that.
There you
Woo!
go. Yeah. Trevor's doing this without giving me the heads up. I could have gone out and got one. We could have started the summer of beers right now, but
That would have been. Oh, I'll tell
another
you,
time.
perhaps the first weekend. I don't know. It feels like kind of a downer to have like a non-alcoholic one for the first week.
No, like again, that could be like part of the trend. It could be like rifle through those and see what's we've done the other ones, so why not go
Yeah.
down that line?
Okay, so we'll pick a number because that really kind of limits the scope. Because as much as the scene is burgeoning, it's not massive.
It's not
So
massive. Okay,
it's like, well, week 3 and we're
we're
done.
back on the same one. All right. All right.
So I think we can commit to like, let's say the first 2 weeks is non-alcoholic beer, just to like
Sure.
give it a taste
Fair
test. So
shake.
yeah,
Okay.
I'll probably start with this one because it's very
I
good.
was about to say. All right.
So we're
Sober
carpenter.
carpenter. Gotcha.
All right. As I said, we will drink to that and we will cheers to the end of the show. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you like the show and you'd like to subscribe and listen more often, you can find us on all the podcast networks. You can find us on Google Play, Spotify, iTunes, Caster, anywhere where you get your podcast. Just go search for New Dad Gaming. If you do find us on there, what would really help the show is if you subscribe, and even better if you can leave a comment. That really helps boost the signal, lets other dad knows we're out there. All the more dad wisdom as we grow and build together. If you want to leave us a gaming dad story, if you have your own health recommendations, a game recommendations, if you have recommendations for what you did when you nuked YouTube from your own household, or if in fact you find it to be a net positive, we want to hear this. Some of the letters we received from dads we're going to be sharing over the coming weeks has been fantastic, but we'd love to hear your story and share it on air. Share your wisdom with other dads. Reach out to us at New Dad Gaming or newdadgaming.com. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Once again, this has been New Dad Gaming. Until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old.
And just remember, just because you became a dad.
Does not mean it's game over.
All right, see you next week.
See you later.